28th of February. Let's talk first of all about the prospect for interest rates and the mortgage market. The Sunday Times took a poll of fund managers towards the end of January, and fund managers rather than economists, because the latter have a shockingly bad record of getting any predictions right. And they predicted with 75% probability another rise in base rate in May. That coincides with the second inflation report of the year from the Bank of England. And indeed, since that time, the Bank of England themselves have come out, and Mr. Carney has warned of the increasing probability of a rise in May and further rises into the future. So quite clearly, swap rates have reacted, and since September, when I last spoke to you on this subject, 5-year swap rates that become your fixed rate tomorrow have risen from just over 1% to 1.35% today. Now, in that time, one or two lenders have reduced some of their fixed rates as a short-term measure, and this results in compression on margin, but you should regard this as being not generally sustainable in the medium term. So if ever there was a case for taking a 5-year fixed rate, be it on your buy-to-let mortgage or your residential mortgage, now is the time. So do please speak to our consultants so you can see what the pricings might be like on 0345 345 6788. Elsewhere, we've also been pushing out our buy-to-let index for January 2018, and we comment there on the trends on interest rates and what sorts of movements you're seeing on other rates, such as 2-year rates and tracker mortgages, both of which have risen somewhat over the last quarter. But also the new year brings in new products with a number of incentives, including cashbacks, free valuations, reduced ERCs, and soft credit checks even on dips. So there again, it's worth speaking to our consultants to get an idea of what might be available to you. But of course, in the background, regulation and rules are remorseless. So EPC regulations land for landlords on the 1st of April, where you will not be allowed to let a property that is rated F or G. And indeed, you might wonder how this will impact you, but all lenders now who look at portfolio landlords, those who own 4 or more properties that are mortgaged in the background, many of those lenders will have access to EPC ratings from the government's database. And that will tell them what the grade of those properties are. And lenders may start to ask you questions about some of those properties you own in another place. And of course, you will know that from the 1st of April 2020, even if you currently have a tenant in situ, you will be obliged to bring the property up to standard, i.e. above F or G, regardless of the tenant staying in place. We're developing some technology which we'll come back to shortly, so you can check out any properties that you may have, just in case you're not sure where the EPC rating is. And just to keep your mind occupied, the subject of mandatory licensing and minimum room sizes on HMOs is still very much on the government's agenda, and we're keeping track of it, but it has not yet formally landed in law, and the implementation date that we originally had of 1st of April seems to have moved out somewhat. We're waiting for further guidance on this subject, and I'm sure we'll hear more on it. Now, Chris Longhurst, one of our experienced buy-to-let brokers, will be holding a webinar on these and other subjects on the 28th of February at 1 p.m. And if you'd like to hear more details and background on all these subject areas, please sign up and just join the webinar on the day. And there is a technology where you can type a question into him and have it answered for the benefit of all viewers. But of course, for all of these news items, and indeed direct quotes on new products for you, do remember to give us a call on 0345 345 6788.